don't disagree with you in the why do you support Trump. I don't necessarily support Trump, and I am a Christian, so but I can't argue with your point because your social view. I'm a Christian, so I can't really argue about why is being gay wrong because I'm a Christian. But why are men supporting? Why are
So can
men
I
better
ask
at
you where in
being
the
women?
Bible does it say it's wrong to be gay? Because I also
It's
believe
the
in God.
language. Okay, okay. Oh, so you do believe in God?
Yes.
So you are a Christian?
Yes.
Okay. So in the Bible, it does say you can't lay with another man. Now, I will
Where?
say
Where
this:
in
it
the
doesn't
Bible?
say. Was it Leviticus?
Leviticus. Are
Um,
you sola scriptura? Do you uphold the Bible and think the Bible is the ultimate authority?
no, no. So here's the thing. So
So how do we
everybody's.
determine what from Leviticus do we follow and what we don't follow from Leviticus? How do we determine?
What do you mean?
Because in Leviticus, literally a couple of chapters later, it says that you can have slaves as long as they can recover after a day or two. Right. So under your worldview, it would be wrong to be gay in accordance with Leviticus, and it would also be okay to own slaves as long
No,
as they
I'm not.
recover.
Look. Again, I'm not arguing about you. Like, I don't really care about people being gay. I'm just talking about sin. You know what I mean? I'm talking
Well,
about
but where
sin
in the Bible does it
within
say
itself.
it's a sin?
With laying with other men, it's the same thing with talking about women laying with other women.
But
It
where in
does
the
say that.
Bible?
Leviticus. It does say
Okay,
in Leviticus
so
it's a
then if you
sin.
uphold Leviticus, how do we determine what part of Leviticus do we uphold? Because in Leviticus it also says that we can own people as slaves so long as they recover after a day or two. So do you uphold the belief that in accordance with the Christian perspective it is okay to own slaves as long as they recover after a day or two? Just as you think being gay is a
What?
sin.
No, what? No, you're doing a hypothetical. That's not
No, the
a.
Bible says that. The Bible says you can own people as slaves so long as they recover
Yeah, but
after
you're
a day or
doing a
two.
hypothetical for another verse that
No,
doesn't
it's not
match
a
it. That's
hypothetical.
not
I'm giving
that
you
does.
a
No, I'm talking
comparison.
about. No, I'm talking about gays. You're talking about slaves. That's the
Right,
opposite
no,
here.
because you're citing Leviticus. How do we know that that verse should be upheld today? Right? Should the
Hmm.
entirety of Leviticus be upheld today?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about itself in the Bible with Leviticus, yes, of course.
Okay, so then you think people should can own slaves so long as they recover after a day or two, because that's what Leviticus says. And you just said people should uphold Leviticus to its entirety. So if people want to own slaves, they can so long as they let them recover after a day or two.
You're taking parts of the Bible. You're
That's what
getting
it
off
says.
topic. You just got off topic.
It's not.
That's not what
Hold
I
on.
was
I asked you
talking
the
about.
question. Should we uphold the entirety of Leviticus? And you said yes. Therefore, we should uphold this part as well,
Yes.
where it talks about people can own slaves so long as they recover after a day or two.
I mean, you talk about morals from the Bible like a long time ago and back in the day that the
So
morals were a lot
you're saying we
different.
shouldn't uphold this one, right?
I'm saying it like what there's different parts of the Bible you're talking about. Like, of course, you're talking
How about
about
we
like
read the Bible? How about
you're
we read
talking
the
about
Bible?
education of like humans becoming educated. Of course, the Bible talks about humans becoming educated.
How about we
You're
read it?
talking about
Your male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of temporary residents living among you and members of their clans born in your country, and they will become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property, and you can make them slaves for life, but you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly. This is what the Bible says in Leviticus 25:44 to 46. So should we uphold Leviticus 25:44 to 46?
I mean, if you talked about morally of the Old Testament, yes, but not the New Testament. The New Testament and the Old Testament are different. The
Okay,
Old Testament talks about.
you think people can
Okay,
own people
let
as
me let me give
slaves?
you let me okay let me no no no. You're talking about the Old Testament.
You are
Let me tell
too.
you
You
something about
cited
the Old.
Leviticus.
Yes, because that's the Old Testament. The Old Testament. Okay, do you remember about God talking about in the Bible about people eating fish and how they should eat fish because it's about how they cook fish. The Bible teaches people how to cook fish and eat fish. That's the Old Testament. Now we're in the New Testament on what he teaches from the New Testament about the
Okay, so
future.
where in the New Testament does it say being gay is wrong or a sin?
In the Old Testament, it does. Yes, of
Okay,
course,
so
you should
then
always learn from the Old Testament. But some of the Old Testament, yes, the Old Testament has nothing to do with the New Age terminology.
okay, so
You're
then
getting that a lot mixed up.
no, we're not no. Should we uphold the entirety of the New Testament?
I mean, not in today's world, no.
Okay, so
But if you're talking
how do we
about
determine what parts
if
of
you're
the
talking about old days, yes.
how do we determine what
Okay,
part?
if you're talking about
Hold on. How do
okay,
we
talking
determine?
about one
Hold
part,
on.
which I talked about one part, which was being gay
Yeah,
on the Christian
but
side.
my next
Yes,
question is
of
how do
course, it says
my
not
next
laying with other men.
but my next question is how do we determine what parts of the Old Testament should be upheld in today's society?
I mean, if you're talking about things that teaches you about hey, what you shouldn't do, then yes, you shouldn't do that. But
But
if you're
it's telling
talking
us what
about
they
in
should
old
do.
terms of what morals
It's
were,
saying we should do this. You can do this. You
yes,
should do this. You should let
yeah,
them recover.
you no, it's not. You should. You can. That's the difference. You can. You should you? No. Can you? Yes.
So do you
That's the
think people
difference.
can own people as slaves?
I mean, if you're talking about in
Like
old terms,
currently.
yes. Currently, no.
So then again,
Older, yes.
how do we know what to uphold in terms of the Old Testament? I'm confused.
I mean, if you because in the Old Testament it teaches a lot of things about what people should do and shouldn't do in the old times. Like if you're
Okay,
talking
so
about
how do we
people
know
eating
which laws
fish,
apply
how you
today?
cook it.
How do we know which laws apply
Well,
today?
I mean, if you have a morals change, that's the thing. Morals do change in the Bible. It says morals do
Okay,
change.
so then you're saying
I
it
mean,
depends on the society, so therefore the Bible
yes,
it
it
doesn't.
does, and the
So then
Bible
hold on.
talks about that.
So then the Bible doesn't determine whether being gay is wrong.
I mean, it does. If you're talking about laying with other men, it does count that as a
Okay,
sin.
where?
It's a sin. It's part of the Ten Commandments. Not the ten. Sorry, my bad. Not the Ten Commandments, but
Where
it
in the
does
Bible
talk
does it
about
say
it
it's a
being a
sin?
sin.
Where?
Talks about laying with another man is a sin, and laying with a woman and a woman
Romans,
is
yeah,
a sin.
Romans. That's talking about lust, not homosexuality.
Yes, that is lust.
Yeah,
It's talking
lust.
about lust.
No, it's talking about
Men
men and
laying with other
women.
men is lust.
It's talking
That's
about
what it
men
was
and
talking
women.
about.
It's talking about men and women in Romans.
Yes, men and women, not just men. I'm talking about women too. But at the same time,
Right,
yes,
but
it
it's
is
not.
a sin.
Yes,
But again,
lust is a
I'm
sin.
not.
Yes, what is
Yes,
referencing
and
lust is a sin.
it's every other sin. I'm not talking about. Look, all I was saying is that I'm talking to you about whatever you agree with. So I didn't know you were a Christian. My bad. But because I heard you were agnostic, so I didn't know if you were
I was
a
agnostic on the
Christian or not.
position of him of the statistics, not Christianity.
Oh, my bad. But yes, I do agree that yes, it is a sin, just like any other sin, and you can cover
Yeah,
from
lust
any
is a
other
sin,
sin.
not being gay. Being gay is
Yes,
not a sin.
I do. It's not natural. It's
Okay, it
not.
is
It's
natural.
not
We see it.
natural.
Okay, what is natural?
What is natural
Yeah,
is like the what God
because
gave
we
us,
see it in
which was a
nature.
genitalia, that can impregnate a woman for the most part, who can give birth. A man can't give birth.
Okay,
Men
well,
can't give
let's
birth.
take a
That's
look at
not
it. Let's take a
natural.
look. It is natural because we see it in nature, and also let's take a look at this
Yeah, you're
article right
talking.
here. Let's take a look at
You're
this
talking.
article. Let's take a
Are
look
you
at this
talking about
article.
other species?
Yeah, there's species where it's natural. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yes,
let's take a
yes. I
look
know
at
what
this
you're talking about.
natural.
It's species. We're not those species. We're human
Sure,
species.
let's
It's
take a look at
different.
this. Not let's take a look at this article. Uh,
I mean, what article you're looking at? That's my question.
scienceinsights.org.
Okay.
Where the fuck? Oh, here. Uh, the collective. No, it's not this one. Where the fuck did the paragraph go? Give me a second. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Genuinely, where did it go? I was just reading it earlier on
You're good.
stream.
You're good.
What the fuck?
But no, I'm not hating on gays or nothing. I'm just saying as a Christian,
Oh,
I
there we
do
go.
disagree.
There we go.
As a social storm, no, I don't. Because if you're not a Christian, I can't really argue with that.
There we go. Variations in the brain connectivity pathways have also been noted. For instance, the anterior commissure has been reported to be larger in homosexual men compared to heterosexual men and women. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. That's what the science shows. I also have I also have many of different articles. Science proves that in terms of neurology, which is going to be the study of the brain, we can see that the brain of quote unquote gay men and straight men are different. So if you
Yeah,
want to talk about
yeah. I
that,
mean,
it is
yes,
natural in
it's a
that
mental.
sense,
Yes, it's a mental thing. That's the
but
difference.
it is
I agree
natural.
with you. No, 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 no. It's not natural. It's a mental thing on what you produce your
So
brain
then, what
with,
do you
and
define as
what
natural?
childhood stuff happens.
So then,
You
why?
know,
What do you?
that's the difference.
So I guess can you repeat what is natural? What do you define as to be natural? Like
What
in
is
nature?
natural? Natural is just nature. You know, of what human species. Yes, I agree with you
In
about.
nature, we
You know,
do see
yeah,
other
no, no,
species
no.
being
Like
that are
species, other species like animals, some do have gay relations because that's
right.
what makes them and have impregnates and does have a natural born to society. It does like affect society in a good way. Now, I'm not saying like anything like I'm not saying like as a personality of gay people or whatever, they're good people. Like I have a gay friend, he's
So
awesome.
natural is to
But
be
like
seen in nature,
yeah,
right?
yeah, so as nature with itself of like us as a human species, I'm not talking about any species, I'm not talking about animals, I'm talking about us. I'm saying
But
as
we do
us,
see
yes,
humans gay.
but
We do see people that are gay. So we do see that in
yeah, yes,
nature.
of course.
So
It's
then,
like
therefore, it is
13%
natural.
of the population. Yes, it's not the highest population, but it is 13%. And so
But why do you
here's the
think it's
thing.
unnatural to be gay?
Because it's just not, man.
But why? What's the argument for
It's
that?
not in our
But what is
it's
the
not in
argument?
our I'm what I am saying is that I can impregnate a woman. You can impregnate a woman. What I'm
These
saying is
infertile people. Are you saying like being infertile is unnatural?
I'm it's not unnatural. That's just a
Is oral sex unnatural?
it's like cancer, It's like you have cancer. It's a disease. Sometimes
Being
it's a
gay is not
disease
a
that happens.
disease. No.
I'm not saying being gay is a disease. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
Oh, you're
saying that you can
infertile. Being
recover from.
infertile.
No, you no. Look,
Because being gay is not a
As a
disease.
Christian, you can come back to what you are. Like I had like so I went to church not too long ago, and a gay person came in there and was like, "Hey, look, you know, I'm bi and I feel this way. I want to recover from this sin." And they try to recover from it, and he did. And
He's still bi.
yes, he's still bi. Of course, you have that mental aspect of you being bi, but you can still recover from it as a sin of wanting to believe in God. That's the thing with
So you're just saying
Christianity.
gay sex is wrong?
I do think gay sex is wrong, of course,
Why is gay sex wrong?
because it's not. I'm not saying. Oh, look,
Because also there is no recovery. Like
whatever people.
the chat is right. You can't recover. Like he is still bi, and also it literally is suppression. But why is gay sex wrong?
I don't think it's natural. I don't. As a
Okay,
Christian, I don't think it's natural.
is anal sex natural?
It is not natural.
So would it be
Yes,
wrong? Would it be wrong for a man and women to have anal sex?
yeah, I do. Yes, it is
Is
wrong.
oral sex natural?
It is not.
Would it be wrong for a man
That
and
is
women to have?
lust.
Would it be wrong for a man and women to have oral sex?
Yeah, it's wrong.
Would it be a sin?
It's lust. Yeah,
Bro.
it's lust.
Yeah, why do you think anal and oral sex is like wrong?
I'm not saying I haven't because I have. I sinned. I'm not saying I sinned. I sinned
But
just as
why do
much
you
as
think it's
a gay
wrong?
person has. Um, I think it's wrong because it's lustful, and that's the thing. It's lustful.
Okay,
If you're talking about lust, yes.
do you think like gay people who are like asexual are not that's not a sin?
Like being asexual just cares about personality. Yeah, I mean, if they
Like just being as like romantically attracted like a man and man, not sexually, right? That like two individuals that are asexual. Do you think that would be a sin?
okay, so if they're not having sex, no, that's not a sin. Technically, that's not a sin because you're not laying with another man.
So then it's okay for like a man. So it's okay for men to be like romantically attracted towards other men,
But not have sex, yes.
just as a woman
Just
and
as
man can
partners,
have
yes.
sex.
That's actually not a sin. I don't believe in
Just
marriage
just
for gay men, but I do believe that it's a romantically.
do you think
Well,
it's a sin
actually, I
for
don't
do you
know.
think it's a sin for two men to get married?
No, no, I don't.
Okay.
If they don't have like if it's not sex, then no, I don't. I agree with that.
I'm confused. I've never heard this position. I mean, you're not being contradictory because you do think men and women who have anal sex is wrong. In this instance, people sin. I mean, you said it yourself. You've had anal sex, oral sex, whatever. Uh,
Yep.
I I don't know where to go from here. I mean, I've never had this argument brought up. If you don't think that
No,
people
I
who are
do no,
attracted to each
because
other,
in the Bible, because I'll tell you this, in the Bible, it does not say in the Bible to not marry a man. It does not say that it does not say you can't
Mhm.
marry a man. It does not say you can't have romantic relationships with a man. It just says you cannot lay with another man. That's what the
I
Bible
would push
says.
back on that based on translation over 2,000 years in multiple different language and like language change over time, and we would have to like actually determine whether or not the translation is accurate. So I would push back on
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But as long as like you don't think like two men being romantically attracted is wrong, that is good. I don't think gay sex is wrong. I don't think anal oral sex is wrong either.
I do
Um,
disagree. I think it's lustful. Now, I'm not saying I'm not perfect because I have committed sins, but I'm saying I commit sins just as much as a gay person would that says laying with another man. I think it's lust, and
but
that's what I
you
agree
do
with.
think you do think two men and two women should have the ability to get married,
Yes, of course. I don't agree with the sex part and lustful part. No, I don't agree
and
with that. I just
you
in
don't
the
agree with
Bible.
that, but you don't agree with that with men and women either.
Yeah, like women and women. Are you talking about women and women?
No, like men and women, like having you don't agree with
I
like men
mean,
and women having
I do agree that they could have sex, but I
like
don't
oral sex
agree.
or like anal sex.
Yeah, yeah, no, I
You
don't
don't
agree
agree
with
with
that.
that.
No.
Okay.
But if you're talking about now, I will. But I was trying to argue with you first because I didn't know
Do
you were
you think
Christian. But I would
what is
say,
the point of sex?
the point of sex is to
Like
have
penile vaginal sex.
if you are married. Now, I don't agree with the fact that a man should be married. So a man should be married to a woman before he has sex. Of course, for
Hmm.
sure. And should if you do consider having a baby, then yes, I do consider you having a baby if you're prepared and you're
But like,
there
what is
in life.
sex? Like, what is the purpose of sex?
To raise a child.
So, would it be a sin if two infertile men, like a man and a woman who are infertile, would it be a sin for them to have sex, knowing that they can't have children? Right.
What
So,
do you
what would
mean?
be
Oh,
those?
so here's the thing. With that standpoint, and it sucks for some people. It's just like having. It's almost. It's not. I'm not saying it's a disease at all, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a disease. I'm just saying it's almost like you. This is going to be a really bad hypothetical here, but I'm going to say that it's like kind of like having cancer almost like you just can't you can't there's some things you can't
Oh yeah, there's
do
yeah,
because you
people
are
can't control
human.
if they're infertile or not. Yeah.
You can't control that, and that's just how it is.
But
But
do you
there
think
is a
it's
story.
wrong? Like, if two infertile people have, like, a man and a woman have vaginal sex, do you think that would be wrong
I
knowingly?
do think it's wrong in that case, yes, because it's lustful, and I do agree. I do think that it is lustful if you do have that. I'm gonna be honest.
Freedom to think whatever you do. You want to like up? Do you want to make laws to prevent lust?
What do you mean?
Like, do you want to implement law to prevent
No,
people
I'm
from
not. No,
having?
like, see, here's the thing. I'm not a like so here. I'm not gonna say that because as a social view, it's different. A
Okay.
social view is different. So people may not believe the same way I do, right?
Okay.
So
Listen.
I'm not
So
going to
separation of
push
church
that
and
on
state,
somebody.
right? You can
Yeah,
listen. You can think whatever you
yes,
want to
yeah, I
think.
do agree with that. Yeah,
I can't critique you on you being like a hypocrite because you uphold your view. You think two people who are infertile having vaginal sex is wrong. Crazy. You think anal sex, crazy views, but you're not a hypocrite. I'll give you that. As long as you like don't advocate for laws to be implemented,
yeah, I do
you can
agree.
believe
I
what you
don't.
want to believe. I
See,
can't
here's the
control what you
thing.
believe.
Here's the thing with social views. Social views is very different than my Christian views because
Hmm.
you can have a Christian view all day long,
Hmm.
and you can be like, oh, this should be implied in church or this should be implied in school and state, but not a lot of people may not agree with me on
Right.
that point, and that's okay. That's just how people believe, and
Listen,
that's
man.
okay.
We all have the ability to believe what we want, as long
Right,
as we
I
don't want to
agree.
as long as we don't want to implement laws to harm other people. So
Right, I agree, hundred
obviously you don't
percent.
want to do that. Well, is there any other topics you wanted to talk about?
I do. This is what I want to talk to you. I do disagree. It's gonna be a bad point. Like turn it on, but I don't think women should lead, and that's that's another thing. Because I didn't know you were a Christian, but I don't think women should lead, and that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, why?
I do disagree, and that's just
Why?
because I don't trust it. I don't trust the process of women leading. I don't necessarily trust the process of women leading. I
Why?
guess I just think like for men leading. Now you can say about Native Americans how we took their land, yes, for sure. But at the same time, as George Washington came up and led the country and everything like that, I do think men have a large leading power over women just because women are more emotional and
That's
not
false.
as
Women are
rational.
not emotional. Women have a higher
Women
EQ.
are women are very emotional.
Women
They're
have EQ on
emotionally.
average.
Now I will agree. Now I will agree with you. They're very emotionally IQ average. Yes, their IQ of emotionality of
EQ, yeah,
having
they're
feelings.
better at controlling their emotions. They're better about talking their emotions. That's why men commit most crime all throughout the history of the world. Men have committed most of violent crime. That's why men get into more car accidents. That's why women are better at surgery. Right? You are more likely to survive if you are operated by a woman surgery compared to a man surgery. Even
I
though men have like make up the 80% of surgeons. All these statistics we can see throughout the all throughout history. Right? Women are better with their emotions.
Right, no, I don't disagree with you that they're not bad with their emotions. I'm just saying, as a rash decision of women, I think women are because scientifically it does. Scientifically, now I can't give the percentage here. You might have to look that up on your computer there. But women are definitely more emotional than men, for sure. Now, if you're
But
talking
like,
about like
what are we basing that on? Because if we're basing
I'm
it
talking
on
about like rash decisions, decision making. Men are way better at this
no, that's
decision making.
false. I mean, violent
No,
crime, right? They made that's an irrational decision.
now, now,
If women were
now,
more
listen.
irrational, then women would commit the most violent crime. Same
Now,
with
now, listen.
surgery. Sorry, same with surgery.
Now, I do think, I just think that men are more. Now, this is you might have to look this up. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure men on decision making are better at like, if you look at marriage wise or anything as a man. I'm not talking about crime statistics here. I'm talking about
If you want to
decision
base it,
making.
that's gonna be some like the patriarchy. You're gonna like in a marriage, or like the man is gonna be the critical house man of the household. That's gonna be based on the patriarchy. That's gonna be in accordance with like the traditionalism. But that's because it's been throughout the history of America, right? Doesn't mean that
Yeah.
women can't be the head of the household. Doesn't mean that they're bad leaders. Doesn't mean that they're more emotional.
Yeah, and I just think that with the estrogen that they have, and I'm not saying that men aren't perfect either. That's not what I'm saying because men can make really terrible decisions.
On
Um,
average, men make more worse decisions than men make worse decisions than women on average.
yeah, and that's a lot to do with
Their
as
emotions,
a now society.
their
No, no,
EQ.
not necessarily.
But
I
no,
mean,
violent crime is that driven in emotion? Yes or no?
I think it's more into peer pressure
But it
with
would
men.
still be due to emotion.
Yeah, I mean,
Violent crime is rooted in emotion.
you might be right about that.
Yeah. So men, in terms of crime, men are more emotional than women. In terms of surgery, they're
But
better. They're better in a stressful situation.
I just think decision making. I think men have the take on that. Now, I'm not saying men can't
But
be
what's your argument for that?
emotional. Decision making for sure, because decision
But
making
like,
has a
why?
lot
Why?
to
Why do
do
you
with the
think that?
country. Decision making is like of men having better decision making than a woman who is rash and makes a terrible decision. I think a woman
But I
who
just showed you
makes a
how men are more
emotional decision.
irrational. Men are irrational, and I showed you statistics on that, i.e., crime rates, i.e., surgery. Men are irrational, not women, on average. So that's gonna be false.
All right. I don't know the statistics. I just disagreed with
Also, I can
the.
like provide you evidence that women are often better at decision making. How decision making is different between men and women and why it matters. And they say that on average, women are gonna be better at making decisions than men. That's the title.
I just think, in my opinion, just I don't trust a woman to definitely just leading. I'm not saying like if you talk about like a work, if you're talking about the country, I do trust a man over a woman. But if you're talking about like a
But why?
workplace or anything like that, then I
Why?
don't know.
Why do you trust a man over a woman to lead the country?
I just don't. I don't have the trusting process of trusting a woman just because
Well,
of
what?
capitalism. Because I'm a capitalist, so I think men are better at like having a capitalist regime than a woman would. And I know I sound like a total conservative. I'm actually libertarian, but I'm not
What's your
like
argument
a
that
full
women
on
can't
conservative.
uphold? What's your argument that women can't uphold capitalism?
I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying I
So
don't
then,
trust the
then that's not that
process.
wouldn't be a good reason. Like I'm
I
sorry,
just
this is
don't.
like this is
No,
this
I
proves that
don't.
like men are more irrational. You're holding irrational beliefs with
No,
no
I just don't.
evidence.
No, I'm telling you, I just don't trust it. I
Yeah,
just
that's
trust.
irrational. There's
No,
no
I trust the
rational. There's
process. I trust the process of it. Because I don't right now. If you're talking about the United States, for sure, I don't. I don't really trust a woman right now, just for the simple fact that there's other men in other countries running the world, like Putin,
well,
Xi Jinping.
We have the American military behind we have the American military behind the commander in chief. So it doesn't matter if they don't quote unquote respect women. A, that doesn't make them a bad leader. B, we have the American military, so therefore they would have to respect whoever's in power.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. What I'm saying is that I don't with Xi Jinping and Putin, I don't think these other countries would respect us as much as they did with a woman. I just
No, they
don't think
would. They
so.
don't. They would. Hold on. Would you vote for? If you
I
could go
think
back in time, would you vote for Trump or Harris?
it's gonna sound bad, but I would vote for Trump. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, man.
You think Xi Jinping and Putin respect Trump over Harris? Come on,
I
that's
I
bullshit. You know that's bullshit. I mean, get look at what Xi Jinping
I
just
don't
did.
know.
Look at what Xi
I
Jinping
kind
just
of
did. Trump went to
I would
China. Trump went to China,
I
and
don't
then
know,
3 days
man.
later, Putin went to China. 3 days after Trump did.
I don't know, man. I mean, when Joe Biden and Kamala were in office, man, you didn't see him for 7 months, man. I don't
And
know, man.
we didn't have all these wars,
You
right?
see, you
We
see,
didn't have our allies hating us.
I don't know because they both get from APAC. You know what I mean? So I mean, Israel controls them both ways. You know what I mean? So I don't really agree with
Trump
you on
is
that
way
point.
more pro-Israel. Trump started a war with Israel.
I don't know. They both got money from APAC. Now I'm not saying Trump did get a lot of money from
No,
APAC, but
Trump is
I'm
more
telling you they
Trump is
both
more
got money from APAC,
pro-Israel.
man.
Hold on, I agree with like banning like any corporate pack money, any corporate or pack money. What I'm saying here is Trump is going to be more pro-Israel than Harris.
You know what? I will say this. If I had to go, if let's say Joe Biden and Kamala were running, I would vote for Joe Biden. That's
Okay,
how I feel about Kamala.
why
And
don't you
it's
like
because
Harris?
I don't like Harris because I think she was controlling Biden as a thing, and I think the Democrats right now. I have no
Okay,
problem with Democrats.
if she was controlling Biden, then she did a
I
fucking
will.
amazing job because the Biden Harris
I don't
administration did
know.
awesome.
I think somebody was controlling both of them because they were.
Okay,
Because
you are
here's the
again
thing.
irrational. This just proves a statistic. You have no evidence behind these
No,
claims.
what I'm
It's
saying
just
is
because
what I've
Harris is a
seen.
black woman. That's why.
What I did see though, what I did see was when Kamala and Trump debated, right? It was
She
both
mopped
of
the
them.
floor with
Now
him. She
both of them
cooked.
did terrible. Now both of them did terrible in debate. And I'm not a
She
Trump
did
supporter by all
amazing, bro.
means,
She did. You are a Trump
dude.
supporter, but
Dude,
okay.
it was a 50-50. How do you get 50? How do you get a 50% and a 50% debate, right? Because Trump, I think, had a 50% and Kamala had a
No,
50%.
she did. She
They're both
cooked him.
tied,
She swept the floor with
but
him.
there was a 50%. No, not
Yes, she
necessarily,
did.
man. Dude, no, she
Talking
was
about eating
being
cats
roast
and
salad.
dogs, bro. Eating cats and dogs. Do you think that
Yeah,
cooked?
he had well, yes, he had to bring stuff up his ass. I mean, that's what Trump does. I'm not a Trump supporter by all means. I'm not a Trump supporter. Do not think I'm a Trump supporter
You
because
are
I'm
a
not.
Trump supporter because you would vote for
I'm
Trump.
not.
You would vote for Trump over Harris in the
I
hypothetical
would
that I
because
provided you. Therefore,
I
you're a Trump supporter under my
I
definition of
I,
support.
no.